ago, these little bottle openers were everywhere. Most of them had the Coca-Cola emblem on top. And I had tried to reproduce them at that time, but without much luck. They were so thin, I had trouble with the waxes. But now I have a wax injector pot which can force the wax under pressure. I'm going to try it again. I'm going to make a mold so I can cast these in wax with the injector. I'm going to try something new. I'm going to try to make a good mold. I'm going to try to take my time, and it'll be different. See what I can do. So I'm ready for the first layer of rubber. I parted it roughly at the halfway point. But with rubber, it doesn't have to be exactly, because if you're a little over or under, you can just stretch the rubber to make it work. I covered the wood with clay for a rough background so the rubber would lock together well. I'm going to do a very thin coat and a plastic mother mold. I have a little spot here for the wax to be injected, and this is going to be like this, so the vents will be on the second pour. I mix the rubber by weight, and it is impossible to accurately pour out of these 5-gallon buckets. I always waste a couple of cups and pour some into the cups, and then I use the cups to pour the right amount onto the scale. So I got 106. I'll have to make it come up to 212. 216, close enough. I need to mix it real well, and I'll probably put some thickener in it so it won't be so runny. So I have this polyfiber stuff. It's chopped polyester or something, and I'm going to mix it up. So now I have a mixture that will kind of stay put. I'm going to play with this for a little while until it starts to set a little bit, but I think this is enough. So we're done for today. Tomorrow I will put the plaster paste mother mold on this side. I'm mixing the liquid plastic. These buckets are almost empty, so I can pour out of the bucket. Probably do the same thing. I'll probably make 100 of this. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, that's 160, so I need 320 total, since it's equal by weight. Still pretty runny. It is already warm. This stuff kicks really fast. But don't forget, if you forget this, you're in trouble. So it's another day. Plastic mother mold is cured. We're going to have to get it off the board, turn it over, and clean it out so we can pour the inside. Okay, that looks great so far. So just turned it over, cleaned out the clay, set it on a cup so it'd be kind of level, and I put 3 little vents with little stainless steel wires, and I didn't really know how to hold them up, so I just heated them up with the propane until the end was red hot, and I kind of stuck them down in the rubber. But they are touching the piece, so when I pull the original out, it ought to give me a little vent hole. So now I'm going to mix up some rubber and do the back layer, and I have put the separator compound. And the second mother mold. Now that it's all cured, we're trimming up the plastic. I want the rubber to be exposed on all the edges so that when I hold the plastic tight, I'll be pushing the rubber tight to each other. Okay, with the edges all trimmed up, let's see what we got. One mother mold. Probably need to mark that. Split the rubber open. Okay, that one did great. Okay, I'm going to need to trim a little bit of this these fins, and I think we have a good mold. So this goes like this. Good. There we go. This goes like this. Could probably hold it. I probably don't even need clamps. Interesting. This is the pressure pot. It's probably old as I am. Bought it off eBay. Last time I used it, tried to scoot all around the table. So this time I screwed it to a board, and I have the board clamped down. I have 12 pounds of air pressure in it, and I believe the wax is hot because the light goes off. And I never liked that deal because you don't know whether it's hot enough or it's just not on. Seems like there's a better way to do that, but this thing is pretty old. So let's inject some wax, see what it does. Well, it made a mess and nothing came out the vent holes, so I'm not too optimistic. Well, actually, the dang thing worked almost perfectly. It has no voids. I tried to take it out of the mold too soon. It was still soft, so I kind of boogered it up. But the wax went everywhere. I got like a cold joint here. I think I double squirted it. I should have just kept on squirting one time. And I got this big fin, so apparently I wasn't holding it together tight enough, or maybe have the pressure too high and the wax came out. But man, for a first try, that's pretty good. Okay, second try, I put 2 bolts in it. I don't really tighten them with a wrench. I just squeeze it and tighten them up by hand. And I drilled out the vent holes a little bit. So let's see what happens this time. a little bit of wax come out of this hole. This time I'm going to let it cool down before I open it up, so that's the last time for right now. Temp number 2. I'll let it sit a little while longer. Almost perfect. I got a little bit of a void there, and I still got a cold joint, and I'm not sure what's going on. I guess the wax is coming from both sides and making a cold joint in the middle, so maybe I need to turn the temperature up a tick. Not sure, but so I just turned off my AC. I hope I don't forget to turn it back on. But I'm looking at this wax really hard, and it seems to be a cold joint here, so I thought, well, maybe it's not feeding fast enough. And sure enough, on the intake I found a little blob of rubber that could have been impeding it, so I cut it off, which should make the wax flow in there a little quicker. But then I got to looking real close, and I found this flap of rubber. Apparently when I poured the second rubber, I didn't have the original in the right location, so some of the rubber poured between the original pattern and the first rubber I poured. So look at that. Heating up the wax, we'll try it one more time. This may be it. This may be my first ever perfect mold to get perfect waxes. We'll see. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is my almost perfect cast. Pretty excited about this. I got some shrinkage here and here. This is hollow, but it has a good skin. This one, the skin broke. And a bubble or two. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to lower the pressure a little bit and lower the temperature of the wax a little bit. I think I was being a little too, it was going in there kind of crazy, like I'm going to kind of mellow it out. But this is it. Now I have to figure out how to get my 3D printer to print names so I can customize these little babies.